So welcome everyone. We will start our class today on module 2, that is on mesh and node analysis. So we'll wait for 2 minutes for other participants to join. Okay, so we'll start our class for today. The main topic of today's class is mesh and node analysis. So in this topic, we'll be looking on starting with basics, that is the branch, nodes and loops. Further, we'll be looking about KCL, that is the Kirchhoff's current law, and followed by Kirchhoff's voltage law. And similarly, we'll be solving some problems. So if you have any problems related to mesh and node analysis, mainly KCL, KVL, we'll be solving a set of problems, so you can ask your doubts. So let us begin our class for today. So the first topic here is nodes, branches and loop. So please participate and type your answers in the chat box. So can anyone write the definition for nodes? What is a node? So any answer, anything you know about node, you can write. What you have learned from the NPTEL lectures, you can write in the chat box. Okay, so basically we represent node by a point of connection that mainly joins two or more branches. So suppose in this figure, as given here in this electrical circuit, so there are three nodes, that is node points are A, B and C. So similarly we define a branch. So a branch again is defined that represents a single element, that is an element, it can be any element such as a resistor R, it can be a capacitor, it can be an inductor or any kind of a source. It can also be any type of source in a branch. And similarly any closed path is known as loop. So just write down your answer. So in the given figure, how many nodes are present and how many branches are there and how many loops, independent loops are there. So please, so for nodes, please write down the number of nodes in. Yeah, so Dinesh writes number of nodes 3. Very good. Number of nodes are 3. Also denoted here by A, B and C. So number of branches, can anyone count the number of branches? Okay, we are getting answers. So Dinesh again writes number of branches as 5. Okay, anyone else? Okay, 6. Okay, so the number of branches are typically independent. Branches can be represents a independent component of an electric circuit. It can be either a resistor or a capacitor, inductor or any kind of a source. It can be a voltage source or a current source. So here if you count, this is one branch, this is the second branch, this is third branch, this is fourth branch, and this can be termed as fifth branch. So total number of branches are 5. Okay, and a number of independent loops. By meaning of independent loop, we mean that no path of the loop should be copied in the next loop. So for example, we can consider here loop as A, B and C. So this can be termed as one loop. So here no path is intersecting with any other loop, and similarly we can call this as another loop. Again, this can be termed as another loop. So loops are 1, 2 and 3. So there are total 3 independent loops. But again we can have different type of loop. We can have this kind of this as also the loop. But again, as you can see that for this loop we have already considered this as a loop. So that is why we have to consider only independent loops. So therefore there are 3 independent loops. So now we got our answer, that is 3 nodes, 5 branches and 3 independent loops. So we will move again. So there is a typical theorem in network circuit theory that a network with B branches, N nodes and I independent loops, I or L independent loops, will satisfy the fundamental theorem of network topology, that is B is equal to L plus N minus 1. So as earlier we found that there were 3 independent loops and number of nodes were 3, that is A, B and C. So plus 3 minus 1 gives us the number of branches B. So therefore number of branches are 5. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this must satisfy for every circuit, that is the number of branches is the sum of number of independent loops. So the number of branches is the sum of number of independent loops plus the number of nodes minus 1. Okay, so we'll move forward. So we all know the Ohm's law, that is V is directly proportional to current. But this law is not sufficient for solving circuit theory questions. So for that reason, we have 2 laws, that is very basic laws given by Kirchhoff. So the first law here is the Kirchhoff's current law and the second one is Kirchhoff's voltage law. So the Kirchhoff's first law states that current at any node, total inward current, sum of total inward current at any node is always equals to 0. So suppose we have current I1, I2, I3 and I4, then the sum of this current I, suppose there are j number of branches which are intersecting here. So then for j equals to 1 to n, this should be always 0. So can anyone tell on what principle this, which conservation quantity this Kirchhoff's current law signifies? Please write your answer on which conservation principle. Yeah, so Dinesh writes this conservation of charges, very good. So the Kirchhoff's law is based on conservation of charges. That is, charge can neither be created nor destroyed, as we followed in our module 1, conservation of charge. Similarly, Kirchhoff's voltage law. So Kirchhoff's voltage law works in a loop. So for any loop, any closed loop, the sum of voltage in all the sections of the loop, all the branches of the loop. So suppose here we have 4 branches. So let us name them 1, 2, 3 and 4. These branches can have any circuit parameter such as resistor or a capacitor or an inductor. So then in that case, the sum of voltages here for all the branches will always be 0. So again, on what conservation law this law is based on? Which conservation principle? Yeah, so the Kirchhoff's voltage law is based on conservation of energy. So Kirchhoff's voltage law is based on conservation of energy. So now on the basis of Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law, we have to find the voltage across each resistance. So for example, in this circuit, this is a very basic simple circuit of a series resistances connected. R1 and R2 are connected in series with the potential drop across R1 given by V1 and the potential drop across R2 given by V2. The source here is of potential V. So we have to find the resistance or the voltage drop across resistance R1 and the voltage drop across resistance R2. So please try to find the voltage drop across resistance R1 and R2 independently. So I'll wait for a minute for students to solve this on their own. What is the voltage drop across each resistances? Okay, so we'll write here, we have to write the Kirchhoff's voltage law because the voltage law works on the loop. So here we have only one loop, so we will be writing. Yeah, we are getting some answers. Yeah, good. Everyone please try to solve this for their own. So again I'll solve here for all of you. So first of all, there is only one loop and we assign the direction of current as this arc. So the current is now going through this. So the current value I we can write here. We have to find this current first of all. So writing the Kirchhoff's voltage law here. So we have to, so generally I follow a convention that whenever the polarity goes from negative to positive, I consider it as a negative sign, and whenever the polarity goes from positive to negative, I call it as a positive quantity. So here as you can see, the voltage here is going from negative to positive. So negative to positive, I follow minus. So this is again a convention. You can take opposite also, but I follow this. So I will be solving like this. So that is, we write minus V because current is flowing from negative terminal to positive terminal of the cell is equal to, again here this is positive to negative. So positive to negative, we are the convention is plus. So I'll be writing plus I into R1, again positive to negative, so plus I into R2. So taking I as common, we will be getting, so here again I made a mistake, this is plus and the whole loop, in the loop it is has to be 0. So this is the equation for that loop. So now we are taking I as a common, so this becomes V upon R1 plus R2. So this is the current that is be flowing in this loop, that is I is equal to V by R1 plus R2. Also we write this as V into R equivalent, V by R equivalent, that is R1 plus R2 is the equivalent resistance of the circuit. This where R equivalent is equal to R1 plus R2, that is the equivalent resistance of the circuit. Okay, so if the audio is less, I will try to talk louder. Okay, so now we know that the current here is I, that is V by R1 plus R2. So again the voltage drop across V1 will be I into R1, that is, we'll substitute value of I, that is V upon R1 plus R2 multiplied by R1. And similarly, so this will be the voltage drop across resistance 1, and similarly the voltage drop across resistor 2 V2 is I into R2, that is V upon R1 plus R2 into R2. So this is also known as the voltage divider rule. that is voltage will divide in this fashion. That is, this part is basically the current, and current multiplied by R1 is the voltage drop across the resistor R1, and similarly this is the current I multiplied by R2 is the voltage drop across resistor R2. So similar to this, again we have to find the current division rule, that is how the current I here will distribute into I1 and I2. So again I will wait for a minute for students to solve this problem, that what will be the value of I1 and I2. We have to find the values I1 and I2. I'll be waiting for 1 minute for students to try. So anyone with the answer? So here we have to use Kirchhoff's current law, because we have a node here. So from this node the current is dividing into I1 and I2. So I will write that I is here equal to I1 plus I2. Again this I1 and I2 directions are outward and I1 is inward of the node. So therefore I will be sum of I1 and I2. And also if we write the voltage across these branches, so voltage, since this is a parallel connection, voltage across these two will be same, that is V, applied source. V is equal to I1 R1, current multiplied by resistance, is equal to I2 R2. Okay, so now we have to substitute this value here. So suppose we need to find I1 first. So for getting I1 we have to substitute I2 in this equation, that is the KCL equation. So substituting value of I2, so if we substitute I2 here, so I1 R1 is equal to, we are substituting I2 here, so just for simplicity I am writing what is I2 here. So I2 will be I minus I1. So we have substituting I minus I1 multiplied by R2. Okay, so if you have any doubt you can ask. So I1 R1 is equal to I R2 minus I1 R2. So taking I1 on the left side, we have I1 taken as common, and R1 plus R2 will be the sum, is equal to I R2. So I1 will become I multiplied by R2 upon R1 plus R2. So this will be the current through branch connected with resistor I1. And similarly, if you do the same maths, we will get I2 is equal to I multiplied by R1 upon R1 plus R2. So this is known as the current division rule. Okay, so we are now have the concept of current division as well as voltage division. We are also familiar with Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law. So now we'll move to problems. So till this, if you have any doubts, you can write your doubts in the chat box. Okay, so let's try to solve the problem. So the first problem here is use Kirchhoff's law to find the current flowing in each branch of the network. The branch currents and their directions are labeled as shown in figure 1. So please keep your calculators with you, because here the currents are complex numbers, so that is why you need a calculator. for that trigonometric operations. So again try to solve this problem. So can anyone tell me how to approach this problem? So do we have to use here, so they have written here in the question, use Kirchhoff's law. So we have to use Kirchhoff's voltage law, KVL, to solve this problem. So again, how many loops are there, independent loops? Can anyone write in the chat box number of independent loops for the given circuit? Two loops. Okay, very good. So let us call them. Call this as loop 1. And again, let us mark the direction of current is this as loop 2. So we have to write individual equations, Kirchhoff's voltage equations for these loops. So please try to solve this problem. Yeah, very good. Two loops, two independent loops. So I'll be writing the equations here for both individual loops. So again, I follow the same convention. That is, if the direction of current is from negative to positive, the polarity of that component, then I consider this as a negative convention for me. And similarly, if the direction of current is from positive to negative, that will be positive. So we'll start with the source term here. So the source here. So again, this is a representation. Arrowhead up arrow represents positive polarity, and a down head, that's the tail, is the negative. So this is positive and this is negative. The direction of current here taking here is like this, that is in clockwise manner. So therefore the current is flowing from negative to positive. So that is why we are following the convention minus 100 angle 0 is plus. So now we are taking for this component, the shaded component just I shaded now. So the current is I1 plus I2, and this is moving from positive to negative. So this will be positive. So plus I1 plus I2 into 20, a resistor of 20 ohm. And similarly here for the 25 ohm, this is only current I1. So that is plus I1 into 25 is equal to 0. So this will be the equation for loop 1, that is loop ABEF. So just simplifying this, taking I as common, so I1 as common, so I1 multiplied by 45 plus I2 multiplied by 20 is equal to 100 angle 0. So this is our equation 1. So let us call this as equation 1. And similarly for the second loop, that is loop BCDE, we have to write the equation. Again here we are following the convention, that is anti-clockwise. So this is positive, this is negative. So the current is flowing from negative to positive. So again minus convention, so minus 50 angle 90 degrees. Now the current through this 20 ohm resistor, so this will be plus I1 plus I2 multiplied by 20, and through the 10 ohm resistor current I2 is going here. So this is I2 and this is I1. So again I2 multiplied by 10 ohm resistor is equal to 0. So again simplify this relation. So here we have I1 multiplied by 20 plus I2 multiplied by 30. 20 plus 10, 30 is equal to 50 volt, and the phase angle is 90 degrees. So let us call this as equation number 2. Okay. So now we have to solve this equation. We have two unknowns, I1 and I2 are the unknown, and we have two equations. So that is can be solved linearly. So let us see that here is, as you have to find I1, so let us first eliminate I2 term here. So since I2 here is multiplied by 20, so and here the I2 term is multiplied by 30, so the lowest common factor will be 60. So for getting 60, let us multiply this by 3 and let us multiply equation 2 by 2. So I am writing here multiplied by 3, so 45 into 3, that is 135 I1 plus 60 I2 is equal to 300, angle is 0, and we are multiplying equation 2 here by 2, so this is 40 I1 plus 60 I2 is equal to 100, angle 90 degrees. So let us subtract both the equations, subtracting 1 minus 2. So this is 95 I1, this term will get cancelled out, 60 I2 cancelled out. So this becomes 300, angle 0 minus 100, angle 90. So I1 is 300 minus 100j, we can write 90 degree as j, whole divided by 95. So please use your calculator to find the answer. I will be using my calculator. So 300 minus 100j, so this comes out to be 316.22, angle is minus 18.43 divided by 95. So if anyone has got the answer, please write in the chat box. So I have already solved this problem, so from next problem onwards please try to solve and write the answers. So dividing this by 95, so this comes to be 3.32, angle remains same, minus 18.43. So this is 3.328, angle is minus 18.43. Very good. Nisha has written the magnitude, but angle is also important. So here you can see the answers for this problem. So I1 is 3.329, angle 18.43, so 3.328, and angle is minus 18.43, angle is minus 18.43. So I1 is correct. Similarly, we have to find I2. So you can substitute this value in any of the equation, either in equation 1 or equation 2, to get I2. So again, this will be a vector calculation. Yeah, so in the last class, I asked a question whether current is a vector quantity or a scalar quantity. So please write your answer in the chat box. Is current a vector or a scalar? So the question is, current is A, scalar, or B, vector? So I am asking about current. Do not confuse current with current density. I am asking about current, which is measured in amperes. So please write down your answer whether current is a scalar quantity or a vector quantity. Okay, so we are getting 2 scalar, 1 vector. Anyone else? Okay, so the correct answer is current is a scalar quantity. But why? Why is current a scalar quantity? We have written here, calculated current here as I1, which is, we have calculated 3.329, and angle is minus 18.43 degrees. So how is a scalar quantity then if there is an angle associated with it? Do we need to have the direction? So for example, if this is our x-axis, here it is saying that the angle is minus 18.43. So is this my angle minus 18.43 giving us the direction? So again, I will ask all the students who have answered scalar, how is this a scalar quantity if the direction term is associated here? So Nishan is writes because it has both magnitude and direction. Yeah, so but if it has both magnitude and direction, then it should be a vector quantity. Then how is it a scalar quantity? So by the very definition of scalar, a scalar has only magnitude and a vector has both magnitude plus direction. So please write the answer. What is the reason why we are taking current as a scalar quantity, not a vector quantity, if it has a direction also? So the correct answer is current is a scalar quantity, and the simple reason it is scalar because it doesn't follows the vector law of summation. For example, if we have a current here I, and this current distributes itself into I1 and I2, then simply I here is equal to I1 plus I2. This do not depends upon this angle theta. This doesn't follow the vector law of addition. So that is why we have to say that current is a scalar quantity. It does not depend upon the direction. And that this direction, this angle here, this is actually not a direction. This is basically the phase difference between the potential and the current. So if we have taken our potential source as 0 degree, so with respect to this voltage V at 0 degree, which was at angle 0 degree, we are measuring our current, and this doesn't gives us the direction of current, but this tells us the nature of current, whether this is a active current or a passive current. So suppose active current or a reactive current. So we can write this current again in ij form, that is a complex number, that this I1 will be some value A plus B J. So here A will give us the active power component and B will giving us the reactive power component. So we'll come across this active and reactive power later in later modules. So this is the active power. So mainly the active power is related with the resistance, and the reactive power is associated with the inductor or a capacitor kind of element in our circuit. So we'll be seeing this in our later modules, but for time being, current is a scalar quantity. Why? Because it doesn't follow the vector law of addition. Okay, so we'll move to the next problem, problem number 2. So here we have 3 loops here. So please try, there are 3 loops and 3 unknowns are there. I1 is there, I2 is there, and I3 is also there. So please write down the equations for each loop and we'll try to solve this problem. So the question is that we have to find the current through 4 plus J3 impedance. So this is 4 and this is 3. So 4 plus J3, that is we have to find current I3. So please try to solve this problem. I'll be waiting for a minute. Please solve this problem and try to answer it in the chat box. So use the Kirchhoff's law, that is either KCL or KVL, to solve the problem. So since there are 3 loops, it is quite obvious we will be using Kirchhoff's voltage law. So already in the question the current values have been given. The current I1, I2 and I3 have been defined for each branch. So you have to just write the answers. write the equations for each loop. So let us write this for the loop 1. So for loop ABGH, for loop ABGH, follow the convention. So we'll try to follow the convention. Here we have two sources. One source is 10 angle 0, other source is 12. So again the direction of current is from negative to positive, so I will follow minus 10, angle will be 0. Now here in the second case we will be writing for the other source. So again this is flowing from minus to plus, so again a minus term will come, that is minus 12, angle will be 0. And for the capacitive component, so already the impedance is written, capacitive impedance is written here. So I'll write the value, that is minus of I2 multiplied by J5, and from the resistor this will be plus I1 multiplied by 4 is equal to 0. So just simplify the equation. So this will become 4I1 minus J5 I2 is equal to, taking the magnitude term on the right side, the known values, that is 10 plus 12, that is 22, angle 0. So here the angles are same, that is why we can add them directly. So this is our equation 1. So similarly for the next loop, that is BCFG. For BCFG we have to write. So again for loop BCFG you have to write the equation again. So please write the equation. So let us first of all write the source term here. So the source term here, the direction of current you have to follow. So let us follow some direction of current. So let us follow the direction of current to be in this way. So let us write the equation for the current. So again following the same convention, sources will be minus 15, and again the other source angle is 0 here, minus 12, angle is again 0 here. So all the sources have here angle 0, so you don't need but the capacitive component is here, so again the calculation will be in complex form, no problem. Minus the current through the capacitor, minus J5 into I2, and the current here through the 8 ohm resistor. So the current here through the 8 ohm resistor we have to write, this will be, so I2 current here is I2, and the current distributes here into I1. So here in this direction the current will be I1 minus I2 minus I3. So that is the current through the loop here, sorry not here, here is I1 minus I2 minus I3. So we will be writing that minus 8 into I1 minus I2 minus I3 is equal to 0. So again take the rights. On the right side we will put the known values. So on the right side we have 15 and 12, that is 27, angle 0. On the left side, that is the unknowns, minus J5 I2, and again minus 8 I1 minus I2 minus I3. So we'll call this as equation number 2. So again for the third loop, this is the third loop, that is for which we are finding I3. So the loop is CDEF. Okay, so write down again. So the source term, will be writing the source term first, that is minus 15, angle is 0. Now writing the respective potential drops. So first of all the potential drop across resistors, so that is minus 8 I1 minus I2 minus I3, and similarly the potential drop across 4 ohm plus J3, that is the inductance. So that is plus 4, these are in series, so we'll be adding it, 4 plus 3J multiplied by the current. So current is I3, current flowing here is I3, so multiplied by I3 is equal to 0. So this will become minus 8 I1 minus I2 minus I3 plus 4 plus 3J multiplied by I3 is equal to 15. So this is our equation 3. So again we have 3 unknowns and 3 equations. So the first equation here is this one, the second equation is this, and the third equation is this. So please try to find the value of I3. So we only need to find I3. So how much is I3? So please use your calculator and try to solve these 3 equations 1, 2 and 3 to get I3. So anyone with the answer, please write in the chat box. I'll wait for a minute. There are 3 equations. So from equation 1 you can get can substitute I1 in the other 2 equations 2 and 3. Then you will be left with only 2 equations, and then you can easily eliminate I2 to get I3. Okay, so nobody has till now written the answer. Please try to calculate of your own. Okay, so we'll move ahead. I will just give the answer for this problem. So the answer for I3 is minus 1.85 angle minus 74.12. So please try to solve this and note down the answer. So you must get the value of I3. Okay, so let us move again to problem number 3. So we have limited time, so and you have to cover most of the problems. So the question is, use mesh current analysis to determine the current flowing through resistance 5 ohm and resistance 1 ohm. So these are the resistance 5 ohm resistors and 1 ohm resistance. We have to find the current. So I hope you are aware with mesh current analysis. So already here, please write down the number of loops here. Please participate in the chat. So write the number of loops, how many loops you can identify from the circuit, number of independent loops. Anyone with the number of loop for the given circuit? Yeah, 3 loops, very good. There are 3 loops. And for each loop we have already mentioned current I1, I2 and I3. So again we have to write 3 equations. There are 3 unknowns. The unknowns are I1, I2 and I3. So let us solve this problem using mesh current analysis. Okay, so let us write the equations for the Kirchhoff's voltage law for loop 1. Let us call this as loop 1, this will be loop 2, and this is loop 3. So for loop 1, so for loop 1 we have to write the equation. So again the current will be -4. Again the convention, same convention we are taking, and the resistances. So for the resistance, let us say the 3 ohm and 5 ohm resistance, we will be writing the current. So as per the mesh current analysis, we will be using the same current I1 is flowing through the both resistor 3 and 5. So again we are writing 5 here just because a component I1 is flowing through resistance 5, but this is not a total current flowing through the resistor 5 for the resistance of 5 ohm. So the component I1 is flowing already, plus not plus, actually it is minus, because the direction of the second current I2 is negative, is opposite of the direction of I1. So minus 5 I1, minus 5 I2 is equal to 0. So just simplifying the equations, so this will become 3 plus 5, 8 I1 minus 5 I2 is equal to 4. This is our equation number 1. Similarly, for loop number 2, we have to write again. So please write for loop number 2. So again we know that the same current I2 is flowing through all the resistors. This is not the total current but a component of current I2. So we'll be writing current I2. So this is flowing through 4 ohm resistor, 1 ohm resistor, 6 ohm resistor, and a 5 ohm resistor. So we have written all the resistor through which a component I2 of current is flowing. Now we have to write also the other components here. So the direction of current here is in this fashion. So for the 5 ohm resistance, the direction of I1 is opposite. So that is why we will be writing minus of 5 I1. Again for the resistor of 1 ohm, again the direction of current is for I3 is opposite than I2. So again we'll be writing minus 1 I3 is equal to 0. So let us simplify this expression. So this is 5 plus 5, 10, 6, 16. 16, so minus 5 I1 plus 16, sorry for that, plus 16 I2 minus I3 is equal to 0. This is our equation number 2. So minus 5 I1, 16 I2 minus I3 is equal to 0. And finally for the third loop, that is current I3 is flowing. So again we'll take the sum of all the resistances, that is 1 ohm resistance, 8 ohm resistance multiplied by I3. Okay, and the direction of source is again opposite, so minus 5 volt. And let us write for the 1 ohm resistor through which current I2 is also flowing. So again minus sign will come, minus I2, simply I2, because this is a 1 ohm resistor, equals to 0. So this becomes minus I2 plus 9 I3 is equal to 5. So this is equation number 3. So we have to find resistance, find the current through 5 ohm resistance. So let us first of all find the individual current values. So anyone who has solved this problem, please tell me the values I1, I2 and I3. Okay, no worries, I will try to solve this. So we can write I1 here, I1 is equal to 4 plus 5 I2 divided by 8. Okay, so let us substitute this value. Before that, let us also get the value for I2. So I2 is 9 I3 minus 5. Let us substitute these two values. So this I got from equation 1, this I got from equation 3. Let us substitute these values in equation number 2. So this becomes minus 5 multiplied by 4 plus 5i2 divided by 8. Okay, and we have to substitute here I3. So let us rephrase equation number 3 in terms of I3. So let us rewrite this as 9, this as I3 is equal to 5 plus I2 divided by 9. Okay, so now we'll write the 16i2 term as it is and minus of I3, so minus of 5 plus I2 by 9 is equal to 0. So now this has pretty much simplified. We have only I2 here unknown. So anyone who have got the answer for I2 value, please write the value of I2. I'll be waiting. Anyone? Okay, no problem. I'll just make some space here. So I'll be erasing the left side. On the left side, I'll write the equation in a much more simplified manner. So this is 5 multiplied by 4 minus 20 by 8 minus 25 by 8 I2 plus 16 I2 minus 5 by 9 and minus I2 by 9 equals to 0. Okay, so taking I2 as common, so minus 25 by 8 plus 16 minus 1 by 9 is equal to, so I2 term we have already written. Let us write the known values, 20 by 8 plus 5 by 9. Okay, so let us write value of I2 here. Okay, we have got some answers. So I'll just verify this. So 20 by 8 plus 5 by 9 divided by minus 25 by 8 plus 16 minus 1 by 9. So I am getting I2 0.239 amps. Just let us verify. Okay, so yeah, so Karthik has already solved the problem. 0.2393. So the value of current is for I2 is known. So what will be the current through the 5 ohm resistance? So is it I1 or some other value is there? Is it because I1 is just a component here? So okay, so I2 have already got, so let us find I1. So I1 is given here 4 plus 5 I2, that is 4 plus 5, 4 multiplied by 5 I2, 4 into 5 I2 and divided by 8. So I1 you will be getting 0.6496 amperes. I2 we have calculated 0.2393 amperes, and I3 use this equation number 3 here, this equation to get I3. So I3 is 5 plus I2, that is 0.2393 divided by 9. So this comes out to be 0.5821 amps. So we have the set here. Now all the currents I1, I2 and I3 are known. So the current here through the 5 ohm resistance will be 5 I1 minus the current I2 is here also. So that is I1 minus I2. So I1 minus I2 is the current flowing through the 5 ohm resistor. So the current through 5 ohm resistance is I1, that is this component I1 subtracted by I2, that is opposite to the direction of I1. So I1 minus I2, simply subtract these values. So subtracting I1 minus I2. So I1 minus I2 will be 0.6496 minus 0.2393. Always keep your calculator with you. 0.2393. So this is 0.4103. Yeah, 0.4103 amps. Okay, so that is, we have already got the answer. So current is I1 minus I2, and there is, I think, some calculation mistake here. So anyway, the current should be through this resistor should be I1 minus I2, that is 0.4103 ampere. So please recheck the calculations again. There may be some problem because the reported answer is 0.44. We are getting 0.41. Okay. So moving to the next problem. This is problem number 7. So for the network shown in the figure 7, determine the voltage VAB using nodal analysis. So we have to use this nodal analysis to solve and find the current. Find the voltage VAB. Determine the voltage VAB using nodal analysis. So I think they have forgot. So this is the voltage. We have to find the voltage here across the 4 ohm resistor. So again we'll write the equations for at this node. So let us write the current, all the currents entering here, entering the node. So I is the current entering from here, and IY is leaving here, leaving the node. So that is why I will write minus IY since it is leaving, and IX is also leaving, so minus IX is equal to 0. So we can write IX plus IY is equal to capital I, which value is already provided here. So 20 angle 0. So let us write for the current Ix. So let us assume here that this node is having some voltage V. So and the current is leaving the node. So we can write the current Ix as V. Again, we are taking this as a ground node. Let us assume this to be a ground node here. So this has to be a closed circuit. So this is a closed circuit. That is why let us assume this to be a 0 volt ground. So V minus 0 divided by 16 ohm, that is the resistance, plus similarly for the other branch, V upon J3 plus 4 is equal to 20. So let us take as V common. 1 by 16 plus 1 by 4 plus J3 is equal to 20. You will simply get a value for V. Please find the value for V. Use the calculator and get the value for V. So V will be 20 divided by this term 1 by 16 plus 1 by 4 plus J3. So let us do 20 divided by 16 inverse plus 4 plus 3J inverse. So this comes out V 79.1149 and angle is 28.34. So this is the voltage at this node 1, that is 79.1149. So now to get the voltage here, we have to subtract the voltage drop across the inductor. therefore we have to again find the value of current Iy. So current Iy we have already written here Iy as V by 4 plus J3. So let us divide again V divided by 4 plus 3J. So J here is the imaginary part. So the current comes out 15.82 and the angle is minus 8.53. Okay, so the voltage at point A, that is VA, will be total V, that is the V at node 1, minus the voltage drop across the inductor, that is Iy multiplied by J3. So let us substitute the values here. Capital V is 79.1149, angle is 28.34, and current we have calculated minus 15.82, angle minus 8.53 multiplied by J3. So this will be our answer. So please calculate. So current multiplied by 3 times I, okay, and finally subtracting it with the total voltage at node 1. 28.34 is the angle minus the voltage drop. So this comes out, if you simplify this, this will come out to be 63.29, angle is minus 8.53. So this is the answer. So this is the voltage at itna volt is the answer, that is the voltage at this point, that is VAB. This is the voltage drop across these two nodes, that is 63.29 minus 8.53 is the phase angle, this volts. So hope this question is clear. So we have the answer here. So yeah, so answer is 63.3 angle minus 8.53. So 63.3 angle minus 8.53, 63.3 angle minus 8.53. Yeah, so that is, we got the answer. So hope this problem is clear. So if you have any doubt from today's class, you can write in the chat box. And I will again show the links here, so you can find the this material from the Google Drive link. Please take a screenshot, and the YouTube videos will be uploaded to the same playlist. Okay, so thank you for today. If you have any doubts, please ask. I'll wait for a minute. So we have covered in today's class the mesh and node analysis, along with we saw the basic questions, that is the voltage division and current division rule. So using the Kirchhoff's current law and the Kirchhoff's voltage law. Also we solved some problems. So the problems involved some basic application of Kirchhoff's voltage law, and also we did this mesh analysis. And finally, the last problem, we did the node analysis. So, okay, so we'll meet again next week on Tuesday, 6 p.m. Same Google Meet link. So, for that, thank you. Have a nice day. Okay.